Welcome everyone. Glad to see that you're on. Um, I am. Congratulations goes out to the Professional Development Committee for coming up with this idea and planning it out for an entire month. I think it's a really good idea, and a lot of our members are going to benefit by this activity. I think you I had an opportunity to look at the announcement. This is just one topic, LinkedIn. There are three other topics planned. Two of them are already planned. The next one is going to be on Zoom, and then that'll be followed by the following Friday, a topic on hotkeys or shortcuts and that type of things on your keyboard. So really good topics. And then the fourth topic, we're going to develop that one as we go. And so if you're on today, welcome. And hopefully you will plan to be on for the next 3 Fridays as well. With that being said, I'd like to remind you all in our discussions that we have an antitrust policy that we go by where we don't talk about pricing or contracts or that type of thing. I think you all know that, and we take attendance by knowing you're on the call and kind of going from there. So our speaker today, I would say he needs no introduction, but it'd probably be good to let Paul introduce himself unless Katie has something planned for that. You know, okay. So with that being said, I'll stop talking and turn it over to Paul.
All right. Well, thank you, Calvin and Katie and everybody on the PDC committee for first allowing me to be part of it, and second, allowing me to help out with this presentation. I work with a company called Apex Ag Solutions, and so we service the aggregate and agricultural communities. We are industrial millwrights. So, but anyways, that being said, let's jump right into LinkedIn. I have used LinkedIn now for well over 10 years. I find it very, very beneficial. And for me, you know, it's my way of making those important, like I said here, industry contacts. And not only that, but you can keep abreast of what's going on in the industries that you're really interested in. So I'll advance my slides as I talk. And if anyone has any questions, just shout out, or I can't see if anyone raised their hand. So Katie, if you can help out with that, if anyone has any questions, I'm more than willing to take a pause and answer. And also I'm available for follow-up afterwards.
Paul, are you aware that we can only see your picture and not your face?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just want to make sure.
So can everyone see the next slide, right? That I advanced. Katie, can you see that? Okay. So what is LinkedIn, and you know, why should we use it? For me, it's a place where I can connect with, you know, my past colleagues, current colleagues, and it just increases your number of connections. If you're like me, you come across multiple people every day, and you know, you'll grab a business card. You'll say, oh, I need to make a mental note and get something back with them, or anything like that. So what's nice about this app is that, you know, you download it from, like for me, I go to my Apple store, or however you do it from your Android. You just download it and it pops up on your phone. But you can use this platform, like I said, to collect information on people that you're interested in learning more about. You can uncover events in your area. For some people, like I use it as well to share what's going on with our company, what we're doing, new things. So it's just a nice way to keep abreast on what's going on in your specific areas, or the, you know, people that you want to see. There's certain groups that are available too. Some people have like an aggregate group, or they'll have a journeyman group, or someone who's interested in geology. And so there's groups that are in like your area, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, wherever it may be, that you can join. And again, it's just a way to keep knowing what's going on and knowing who you're following. So the basics we're going to talk about today, about how to create a log on, putting a professional photo in, adding your industry, your location, your customized, your URL link, how to write a summary about who you are and what you're doing and what your organization does. You go through and describe your experience, list some skills that you have, and another one is to list some education, because a lot of this, what people will do when they're looking for some particular industry, they'll go into one of the search engines on LinkedIn and say, hey, I want to know someone who sells crushed stone in Indiana. So you can put that in, and then what it's going to do is it's going to pop up all these links to people who are on LinkedIn, and they can start scrolling through and say, where is this person located? How close are they to me? Oh, I remember them from a past meeting, or I think I saw them on the tee box at the golf outing. And so the more that you're able to put into your professional page, the better. So there's a sign in. What you'll do, like any other app that you sign in with, you'll use your email and you'll create a password into the app when you download it, just like this. So your first name, your last name. And again, think about this as the best way to put your professional foot forward. You'll create the file and get all this information in. And then again, it's going to help people not only know who you are and when they search for you, but also when you essentially reach out to someone to connect, the more detailed information you can have in your account, the better. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Once again, you want to use a good photo. We're in that age of visual stimulation. You don't want to put in, a photo of yourself when you're maybe down at the lake on your boat with sunglasses on, holding up a drink, or, maybe at something you would put more like on a social media page like Facebook. You want to make them as professional as you can. Nice picture of your face, a nice picture in the background. You don't want a lot going on that takes away from people being able to see you, because a lot of that, when you start looking at these links, when they pull up and say who you are and what industry you're in, the face really needs to stand out. It doesn't need to have a whole bunch of stuff in the background. So I had to increase the size of mine, but it's just me, a picture of me on mine, and I'm in front of one of our windows at work. So when people, once again, if they would see me at some conference, or they'd see me out here visiting us, or we're out on a trade show, they can say, oh, I remember that guy. I needed to talk to him about his product. Again, your headline is going to be the first thing that people see when they pull up your picture. So you really want it to stand out, owner, name your business, or sales representative, or director, something like that. Again, when you're building this, you want to be as specific as possible, and you want to use really strong terminology, so when people see it, it stands out, and they're going to go say, that's exactly who I needed to talk to. There's another one, and then again, this is step by step what it goes through in the app. So creating a summary, this is where you want to talk to your prospective customers, clients, or other connections, or who you are, the experience that you have. So 2 to 3 paragraphs are the best here. Again, you're not trying to tell your whole story of your whole career, of what you've done. This just needs to be very, very specific as people look into it, because when they are looking for a potential person to do business with, if they're saying, hey, I own a landscaping company and I need to buy crushed stone for whatever my client needs. I'm going to check out LinkedIn and see who in my area does that. And if you have that on there, the specific information, they're more apt to send you a connection request to start talking to you and creating that business channel. Again, so if I'm looking here, seasoned marketing and development executive. So, I've been in marketing and sales for my entire career. Right here, it always show too how many connections I have. And then there's a little link that gives you contact info. If you have other online profiles, like a website, a Facebook page, or Twitter page, not a personal one again, but more professional, there's a place you can link them in to this as well, into your LinkedIn page. So that as they're going through and saying, you know, I work for Apex Ag, and they want to click the link to my office and to my company, that's built in where you can go there and look again. You know, you want to build on your experience in showing this, that creates that real strong voice of who you are. LinkedIn has some great publishing tools that will help with that. So you can include articles of what's going on. Lots of companies use it for celebrating safety awards or employee milestones, or, you know, hey, we have this new equipment that can help out on you. Honors and awards, you know, top industry leader in sales. So these are things that you can put it in to your page. And again, that makes you stand out, and it makes people want to come visit and learn more about who you are. This really, it's about showcasing who you are as an individual and what you do as a company. So when you talk about yourself again, when people are reading it, to decide, you know, do we want this information? Over 20 years of development and operations experience, decisive operations leader with analytical, organizational, strategic planning, and business development skills. Sometimes recruiters go on here as well, and so they have that information where they can kind of take a quick look at a glance to help out. But again, this is just about you, what you want to say, what you do, and what makes people, again, want to click that link to say, I want to connect with that person. So the big part about this is about LinkedIn is building your network. Once you put your page in, and once you identify who you are and what you're about, and the, you know, what industry you represent, it's time to start looking for people to build into your network. You know, who do you need to know? Who would you like to know or get to know that's going to either help out with your business, either by someone that you can connect to sell to, or that you can utilize their product, or something that you can do to say, you know, we would like to invite them to something that's going on at our campus. So it's really easy to get on and just start saying, you know what, I want to invite, like for me personally, because we do a lot of work in the aggregate field in repair, installation, moving equipment, things like that. So, you know, my thing when I would start, and I would say, I want to know everybody at Moulds or Stone. So you can type in Moulds or Stone into a search engine, and everybody who works for Moulds or Stone that's on LinkedIn is going to pop up. And you have the ability to invite everybody to be a contact, connect. You know, that's real tempting to go out and say, I want to get all these connections so I can go back and say, now I can start emailing these people, or I can start sending them messages, or I can start, you know, trying to get in to meet them. You don't want to do that, just because a lot of people have those work in the same offices, and they're going to say, wow, this person is really just, they may not be that interested in me as an individual, but just, you know, trying to add to their connections or trying to get as many contacts as you can. You know, you want to be real mindful about this. You really want to say, who are the people that I can work with and start these critical conversations with, and get to know who they are and what they do. So again, when you do this, there's an opportunity when you connect just to say connect. That's just like to send a random information, an email to say, hey, I want to be part of your network. The other part is that you can send one, and I always recommend this. They say, send a message with it. So when you do this, there's a box you fill in, and you just need to send a little personal note. You know, Calvin, this is Paul Moore with Apex Ag. I met you at the winter workshops. We had a little conversation at our booth, but I would, you know, really like just to make a connection so we might be able to share some information back and forth. Someone, when we send those invitations are more likely to be accepted, and, you know, they look at it as it's more of a professional one, not just, you know, a random invite if you don't send anybody. Because someone sends me an invite to connect and they don't say who they are or why they're sending this information, most of the time I just disregard it, because they didn't put any effort into saying why they want the request. So just again, connect with people that you know, especially like in our organization that you have met, connect with people that you trust. And then that's a good place to start as you build your network. And then as you go out and, you know, you collect cards like I do, I just would rather do it by LinkedIn myself. So I can go in and I'll even mention, say, hey, I'm going to send you a LinkedIn request if you don't care, just so I don't lose your contact information. And most of the time they're okay with that.
Hey, Paul, not to interrupt, but
Oh,
you mentioned the business card thing.
yes.
You keep your contacts separate from LinkedIn, right? Is there a way to store that information and connect it together?
Not, they don't have something where like you can take a picture and add it in like an app. I think I used to have called Card Munch.
Yes.
But if you have it, like if you're talking with them at a winter workshop or at a location and you just say, you know, are you on LinkedIn? It's another good way to have a conversation. Say, hey, are you on LinkedIn? Especially if you have started a nice rapport, not just, you know, swapping business cards. You can say, I'm going to send you an invite real quick. And again, it's that little search box like this shows on this slide. You would just type in Paul Moore, or you would type in Katie Allison, and then that pops up everybody with that name. And that's again where that picture comes in handy, where you say, okay, that's his face, I remember it. And then you can send that connection. But you know, in all that information for me, just because the cards are, I'm not a person who likes to keep things around because they're in my clipboard or they're in my wallet. So it's really a good way to have that and not have to worry about losing that one, Calvin, for me at least.
Okay.
And so, you know, like again, LinkedIn has this ability to post content as well. So it's just not all about saying, you know, getting a connection, because once again, when you make those connections, it's a tool that allows you to share what's going on with your network. So like I see all of the information from Katie or from Calvin, and if they post something that says, hey, we did something great here, or hey, this is something new, or we're celebrating a milestone. And as that goes through, there's opportunities for you to say, to like what's going on, to comment, much like any other social media page. But again, you get to see that information and who's commenting on it. So a good thing to have about that is you start making those connections through your connections again. So you can say, if I post something from Apex Ag, like we just moved into a new facility, we completely remodeled a old middle school in Winchester, Indiana, and we moved our entire operations here from 2 separate buildings. So I can say, hey, you know, we're fully functional, operational, and everything's great. And Calvin might like that. And as you're scrolling through LinkedIn, you're reading those comments, you can go, oh, that's that guy I wanted to talk to. And we had a brief conversation. So again, it's a way to see who the connections are and how to make them grow. So you can say, I'm going to look at who that person is, Calvin, who commented on my post. And then it'll take you to his LinkedIn profile. And again, that gives you an opportunity to connect with him if you're not already done. So there's so many things. I'm just trying to keep it to the basics, I know here, and I apologize, but again, you get to see who is in their profile once you make that connection. And then again, you can comment and like and request from other people's profiles as well. It's just like a huge connection where you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money, you know, going out, especially now that social distancing and people still don't have a lot of opportunities to have their doors open for you to come in. So it's a nice way to sit down and just make your connections and then start sharing your comments and start sharing information between each other. So let's say, again, like if I'm wanting to know about people at Moles or Stone, and I apologize because I was using John's information here. So I looked at Molzer, Crush Stone, and the search engine. And then it starts pulling up information. So who these companies are, what they are. So you look and say, hey, I'm looking for this guy named John Goldsberry, and you type in his profile will pop up. And again, if you see over here where it says messages and more, if you see message, you can click that, and that's where you type in, hey, this is Paul Moore from Apex Ag. We met at this particular place. You know, I'd like to be a connection. And so you start that conversation that way. And then once you become a connection, if he accepts your connections, then you have access to his 500 plus connections, if you see down here at the bottom, if he shares them. So you're able to, again, look and see who you know and how you can share connections. And so.
Hey, Paul, real quick.
Yep.
If you guys notice, I'm pretty smart about the way I upload my profile picture. I put my better looking half in there so that everybody thinks I'm really important.
It's obvious that you married up, John.
Yes. So, and
hey,
again,
you gotta play hard to win.
So when I was talking earlier about, you know, putting information about who you are, why you are, there's information to say, you know, where you went to school, what are some things that you're interested in as well. So then you would sit and, like I said, you always want to hit that message. You always want to send some type of information saying, here's how I know you, here's how we met, because he'll see your picture or they'll see your picture and most likely have that, oh, I remember that person at wherever we were. And so I always say you got to put that information in. So again, there's groups that you can join, and it's the same place you put up here. You in that search engine, you would put like, you know, mining or aggregates or geology, and it'll put up groups that are around you that you can connect with. And again, that's another great place just to continue building your network. So, you know, if you have questions, so, I mean, what I would do is, are many people utilizing LinkedIn, or is this something that's pretty new? Anybody using it?
I think most people probably went as far as setting up a profile, Paul.
Okay.
But to take advantage of some of the, there's someone chiming in says that I do there.
Okay.
You know, most people have taken time to set up a profile there, but like for me, that's as far as I've gone.
So if you're at that point where you've just set up a profile and you want to start utilizing this, you know, maybe today's the day you can say, hey, you know, you want to send an invite to Calvin, or you want to send an invite to me, or, you know, see if Katie is part of that as well. And then just find out, you know, 3 industries that you would really like to know more about, or 3 industries that intrigue you. I would challenge you to go in and put in that search engine and say, you know, who can I connect with today? You know, who are some people that I really wanted to go out and see, but I've not been able to see, or something you wanted to learn about from the industry and not been able to, and do that. So, you know, when you do that, you start getting that connections built up, and then you're able to, again, it's just a nice thing for me to be able to share what's going on with us professionally, and then also to see what's going on in other companies. So you can, again, like, congratulate John on however many years he's been with Moser, or, you know, certain safety records that have, you know, we've been safety free for, or not safety free, you know, we haven't had any accidents for the past 3 years. You know, that's what they share. And again, people like to see when you comment on that, when you like it and you say congratulations, you know, you're taking an interest in what their company's doing and what they're doing professionally as well. So.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in on that, Paul. Another thing too, you know, a lot of you guys are on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram and all that stuff. And they've all got their own little niche of, you know, what's good and how to use it, things like that. The nice thing about LinkedIn, and I need to use it more as well, but, you know, the nice thing about LinkedIn is you don't get a whole lot of the I'll just say the craziness that you get on Facebook and Twitter. It is more of a professional platform. And in addition to that, like the little updates, like Paul just mentioned, you know, so, you know, I just saw a buddy that's been with a company for 17 years and I had no idea. It popped up on my feed this morning. And so I shot him a quick message to congratulate him, check in, and he messaged me back within a few minutes. And but it's a nice way to see what other people are up to, what milestones they're hitting, and it's kind of a reminder to reach out to somebody that maybe you weren't thinking of for whatever reason. So it is good from that aspect.
That's good. Great points, John. So, again, if there's anyone who needs help setting up a page, I'm more than happy to help set up a page. And, especially in this time where we're not able to see a lot of people again, sometimes people just like to hear a hey, and, hope you guys are doing well. And hey, if there's anything we can do to help out, don't forget us to, don't hesitate to give us a call. We can, maybe it's something you can walk through via Zoom or via Skype message. But again, it's just a really, really great way to find out what's going on in keeping up in our industry as well.
All right. That's good stuff, Paul. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Any other questions for Paul?
I'll add one more thing to this for you guys, and just keep in mind with any other online platform. I see it a lot, mainly because I come from digital marketing. That's my background. That's what I'm involved with. So I get a lot of cold calls, cold emails, things like that from people wanting to promote audio, video presentations, CRM software, all this stuff that they want to push towards Mulzer. Even though I'm not the marketing rep, they see my background there and they'll shoot me messages on that. But you will see some of that, but like everything else, you got to kind of filter through it. But I will say that, there are beneficial emails and calls that you'll get as well, which is a good thing. So just keep in mind, if you do get your LinkedIn profile out there and get it updated, you will see some of that. It's no different than anybody cold calling you in the first place because they saw you somewhere else online. But you're going to see some of that, and it's just part of it. It's the nature of online platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it. You are accessible, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And those notifications come in, like John was saying, through the other social media platforms. You'll get an email that says, like, Paul Moore has requested to be your connection. And then when you click on your LinkedIn app or whatever at your desktop, you can see who they are, what industry they're behind, and kind of think, are they really just trying to, be a good connection? Or are they just trying to randomly select me to make a connection? So again, you have total control of who you take and who you don't. And that's why I said, when you first start out, you don't want to just start inviting a ton of people to invite to say, hey, I have 50 contacts. Now I have 100 contacts. It's really make it meaningful. And I promise it'll help.
Yeah, there were 3 other things I saw that Katie, that sounds garbled. Am I okay? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There were 3 other things that Katie placed in the chat box, I think it was, that were tips as well. I don't know if you noticed those as they popped in. They go away once we log off, so I didn't want you to lose those. But again, thank you, Paul. I think what I heard you say, and what's really important is during these times where we're social distancing and it's not as easy to get in to see someone, if you need to call on someone, here's another tool that you can use to first of all increase your network, and then use this tool to communicate and that type of thing. So it's important to have lots of tools in your tool shed, and here's another one, and this is what this is all about. So nice job, Paul. Good information. Paul has offered to assist anyone that needs help with this. If you want, start down that path and need a little bit of help. Was your contact information here, Paul? I didn't do that.
I did not. I apologize.
Okay.
Put that at the
So
end.
they can connect. They can connect with you through LinkedIn. How about that?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I encourage you to try to maybe make a connection with at least 2 of us that are on this, and see how that works out.
Yeah. Again, if you're on this call next week, same time, same station, 12:30. We're going to our lunch and learn number 2, Zoom basics. Katie is going to present that one, and she's a wizard when it comes to Zoom. And so maybe you think you know all about Zoom now. There's more to know, and so we hopefully you'll be on the call next Friday. With that being said, we have there Purdue. Oh,
Boiler up.
boiler up. Okay, all right. Yeah. So. Yeah, great job, Paul. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you. Take care of yourselves. And we look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Don't forget to register. Okay?
Very good.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thanks,
Great job,
everybody.
Paul.
Thank you, sir, everybody.